coming to you live from Live the Dream Media Studio, Southern Arizona Sports Talk, with your host, Raul Soto Romero.
What's up, guys? Yes, I am back. I'm alive. Thank you, Edgar Soto, for running the show last week. That was the first time I had a guest host. Hey, you did freaking amazing, man. And let's get straight to the point. We have two guests that are baseball players, but we need to talk about something coming up this week. Go to the guests real quick. Introduce yourself, guys.
Want to go first?
I'll go. Dallas Howell. I'm here.
That's
I'm
Dallas
excited
Howell,
to be
guys.
here. Yeah, I don't know where I'm looking, but yeah, thank you.
I should have said that from the beginning. Your
You're
guys'
good.
camera's right there,
Okay.
brother.
Dallas Howell.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
My
It's
brother-in-law.
fun.
David Lopez.
Wait, so you guys are brother-in-laws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have been a better researcher,
it.
man.
Yeah,
so
I married his sister.
business partners, brother-in-laws, family stuff. Yeah.
Oh, she's going to business and family. How's that,
that's
man?
it.
Because I've always been told, do not go in business with friends or family.
It's been pretty seamless.
It's only been a couple years, so
I know.
ask us in 5 years. Yeah, we might have our own separate teams.
Hey, like we were talking before, my dad's old school, the way he said it. Hey, if you have issues, just get the gloves on, man. Make it
Yep.
easy.
Yep.
All right, so like I said, we got to talk about something going on this weekend. First off, I'll throw a curveball. Are you guys UFC fans at all or no? Okay, never mind.
A little
Casual,
bit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
little
So
bit.
I know you guys know what this is. Who do you guys got for the Super Bowl?
Cowboys.
All right, this show's over, guys. No kidding.
I'm rooting for the Eagles, but probably the Chiefs are gonna win. If I was gonna bet on it.
Yeah.
All right, do you guys really think this whole... I know the answer to this because I kind of had family that played in the World Series.
Yeah.
So I know the answer to it, but I can't say it. Do you guys think the refs are really kind of...
Scripted?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't know.
it's clean. It's clean.
clean.
You gotta trust. You gotta believe that it's clean. Or what are we watching?
We can talk about this off air.
Yeah.
All right, so just kind of tell the fans what you guys are about. They're developing a club team, which is incredible. They have their fathers are legends in their own sense, and they're developing this team to help out the next generation. So I really want to get into like, why the heck would you want to coach so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think baseball. We've always. We'll kind of get into kind of like how it kind of started.
Yeah, if
but
you
we
just wanna-
miss being on a field. Yeah, so we have Southern Arizona Baseball Academy is the organization we kind of have. It's club baseball, travel baseball, 14-year-old team, 12-year-old team. But yeah, we're kind of coaching individually and helping out, and either whether doing lessons or organizations in our own capacity, and then we're like, hey, why don't we try to do this thing ourselves?
What year did you all start?
This Southern Arizona Baseball Academy.
Yeah.
I think we're just over 3 years
Yeah.
now.
Oh, nice. What was it
Yeah.
like, if you kind of think about, what was the first day like? Because I know, like, for me, starting off with a brand new program, it's hard, man, because you got to have these kids learn how to trust you. So how was that?
I think it started off great because we kind of the first thing we did was no games. We don't care what team you're on. It's like we just want to coach baseball.
Yeah, a little sandlot action,
yeah,
right?
just the skills of it. So there was not a lot of. We didn't care about winning tournaments or winning games. It was we just wanted to give back and coach these youth baseball players the correct way. And Andy, David's dad, Andy Lopez, was a huge part of this. Obviously, having him on our side is it's a huge resume
father
behind
as well,
us.
right?
Yeah. My dad was out there helping. So that's really how we started. We didn't think we were going to have teams.
Yeah.
We
So
knew
how many kids did you guys have at the beginning?
Our first thing we did it was like a 3-month camp, practicing twice a week, and it was just instruction, learning the game of baseball. I think we had 14, 15 players. That's
Practice
it.
twice a week.
Yeah.
And the idea was just to kind of like raise the bar a little bit for Tucson baseball. I think we wanted to like give more resources to like baseball resources to kids in Tucson.
Yeah, were you guys charging at this time, or how did it?
We had
Yeah.
a few. I think we had a couple scholarship opportunities in our first model, and then
Yeah.
but yeah, we were charging, and then it was at Cherry Field. And it
Get
was
that air horn for Cherry Field, man. That's
Yeah.
why I feel that.
There it
right,
is on the JV
just,
field.
but yeah,
Oh, they should have had you at the varsity, man. The
I know
JV.
we tried.
yeah.
Was Oscar Romero doing the coach during that time?
No, it was Mark. Mark was there.
Mark, didn't you guys
Yeah.
give you the varsity field?
No, I know. He was just
They
on
were
this podcast,
practicing,
man. We
yeah.
got to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to
Well,
him.
man, we
No, they
can-
were practicing at the time.
Mark, if
so-
you're watching, or shoot, I'm sorry, I never supposed to call you Mark. Coach, if you're watching this, call in.
Yeah.
But So you guys started off at the JV field, the cherry field.
Yeah, and then we also did clinics. So this was like before we had the teams. If I actually like go further back, and it was like a different model. So it was just camps and clinics for a period of time. So we did them at Cherry, then we did some at Mission Manor, and then after that, a parent approached Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't know. You kind of had you kind of did all the back work with that.
We had a lot of interest from the kids that we were training and coaching that were like, hey, maybe you guys should start a baseball team. I don't know if we were quite ready for it at the time, but there was a team that was already evolved, a 12U team, and their coach got a head job at Desert Christian. So he reached out to us and said, hey, I got this group of 12 or 13 players that I don't want to leave them hanging. Do you know any coaches? So I called him, and I was just like, yeah, we'll do it. So we picked up a team of 12 or 13, and really just had that one team, and they developed.
Yeah, that's when the best dynamic duo in the game was created, right?
Right, yeah. So
and the dads did a great job. Like, that was like when you mentioned like, hey, what was that first few practices? It was like when it came to the team, man, there was a lot of foundational stuff there, and the kids really knew each other well, and they were they liked to get after it. So. That was pretty. There was a pretty good core there to start with, which credit.
That's huge when you got the parents buying in as well.
Yeah,
right.
So,
it was pretty easy to take over.
That team has done a great job.
Good job. Shout out to Scott.
Yeah, he
Scott
did
out there.
Yeah,
awesome. So, what goes into running a club team, man? Because I know what it is running a high school team, a JV team. I know club teams are a little different because it's year-round travel. You're dealing with younger kids. So, what goes into it?
Yeah, it's a lot of practice. I think not to like go long, kind of go in circles, but when we didn't want to do club teams at first because we didn't like that idea. We just wanted to be able to teach everybody and pigeonhole ourselves. We didn't want to do that. But then the excitement with it was we wanted to, the more we were on the field, the more we wanted to like actually run team practices, run this thing exactly like how, my dad ran practices at Arizona and what I was accustomed to. And so
I want to hear it, man. So let me know, how do you guys run your practices? 'Cause I know just from being around you guys for a little bit, being around who's evolved, I know this club team's different than your regular one. So tell me about it.
I mean, it's the whole thing's kind of based off of, and like jump in where I'm missing things, but the practice plans are pretty similar. You don't really, but it's like, there should be no dead time on a field is essentially just like the whole philosophy. And so wherever you're at in a station, whether we're doing one station, it's like we start every practice with live base running. And so pitchers are working on what we call them our 1 through 7s, where they're either figuring out how to hold runners, and there's like seven different ways to hold runners. So they're throwing to catchers. Catchers are working on pop times because they're throwing down to the bag. And then we have live base runners who are working on steal jumps. So just a live base running, that's just like 3-4 minutes every practice we open with. There's like it's 4 different position players are kind of working on something. So everything in practice is kind of structured that way, where there's not a lot of dead time, there's not a lot of downtime, there's not a lot of standing around, which is the biggest. And then, that's you got to be. And there's high school coaches that do that. There's little league coaches that do that. But you got to find more often than not practices. There's a lot of just like people just standing around and not getting after it. And so,
dude, I love it because I'm writing down everything you're saying right now. I'm like, first big practice starts on Tuesday for us. I'm like,
So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of our structure and practices are kind of based on that. And then you just got to have coaches that care, in my opinion. And I think we've been fortunate on that. That's also the hard part about growing it, which I'm sure we'll get into, is finding coaches that care. We really care about, one, we love baseball, but two, we just like, we want to have kids that care, because if they care, we're going to give them everything we got, and hopefully they're there to kind of learn the game. And it's like, that's kind of the relationship with the player and coach. So, yeah.
And just to add, it's like talking about caring. We were so fortunate to have Andy, Coach Lopez out there, was retired. I think now he's out of retirement because he's working with us a lot.
I saw a picture and I'm like, I wonder if those kids realize how lucky they are. They got a Hall of Famer coaching first base for 12 and 14-year-olds.
Yeah. It's so the passion's there. And then, shout out to David too, just he's like an extension of Andy. I mean, knows the game just as much. So for me, it's cool, because sometimes I look back and like, I act like I'm coaching, but really I'm just taking notes from these two guys. Like,
That's awesome.
So it's been a really cool process.
It's like getting a free PhD right in front of you.
Right, exactly.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So you talked about making sure you have the right coaches.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into making sure you guys have the right coaches for your organization?
Gosh, we've been.
It's been us for the majority of it.
It's like, we've been, like I said, we kind of lucked out with it. Dallas has some relationships because when he was coaching with, in his previous with Hills and 5-2, is that right? And then
Mark Eastless.
You all got Mark Eastless out there?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
man.
coaching with us.
That's awesome. So Bucky Bell is that legend that from center field, the one that has iron arm that never gets tired. We used to always hit together.
Yep.
With Bucky.
I
So
know Coach Bell really well, yeah.
Oh, shit. You got a crazy story with him or something? Because everyone always does.
I think my dad has a few. My dad knows him more than I do, but no.
Oh, shit. Was your dad a South Point grad or?
No.
Oh, shit.
Palo Verde.
Palo Verde. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you think so? It's been around 3 years, and you guys are sending guys to college. It seems like I saw the alumni.
Yeah.
What's the goal of this at the end of the day? When this is all said and done, because eventually everything comes to an end. Hopefully, the organization keeps growing.
Yeah.
But what do you want this to be remembered for?
I mean, that's a good question. I think
It's a good question.
the main thing, and I mean, I played with like a chip. That's how my dad taught me to play baseball, but play with a chip on your shoulder, right? So it was like my biggest thing, and I think we're in the same boat with this, is we didn't want to see, in their circumstance, I don't want to like offend, like I'm trying to think how I say these things.
He's
but
an ASU. He's an ASU.
Hey,
so
we're
be
not getting
careful.
into that.
I don't
man.
want
We're not getting into that.
It drove me crazy that I saw the best players in Tucson have to go play travel baseball in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so we both wanted to keep all the best players in Tucson.
Yeah.
So that's like the big perspective. So your organization is like the Canes organization eventually.
Yeah. Yes. So it's like, and I mean, in my head, it's like I want to compete with those organizations. So,
You want to dominate those dudes.
yeah. So it's like you first want to keep the talent in Tucson, so it's easier for recruiting purposes. You know, now you don't have to. It's like if you need to recruit Tucson, you can go to one spot. That's like the long term goal. That's kind of because that's just kind of how like recruiting works for some of that stuff. So, that's one. But the other piece too is like, I mean, I think the main thing is like what I love about youth sports. My background, you know, I was at Boys and Girls Club for a while. Now I'm at the Children's Museum, so I like working with youth in Tucson and the 09. So just youth development is, and the things I learned from sports is obviously, you know, my everyone's sports career ends at some point. Is like, did you learn the things I learned at Arizona and the things I learned from sports is like, you know, structure, organization, hard work, like, hey, you know, having to pivot because what you're doing isn't working and attacking in different ways. And so I'd hope the rest of the youth that go through the program, that stick with us, that like they're learning those key concepts and discipline and things like that. So I think that's kind of it.
Yeah. And if they go on to play college baseball, like great, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome that you say that, because the first thing I told my guys when I was introducing myself was I'm going to do everything I can to make you a great baseball player. But at the end of the day, my wins are going to come from developing a mindset that's going to help you out in the real world.
Bingo.
Because that's what we're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, man, and I realized this when I stopped playing, baseball was only as important as Monopoly to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I got a school paid for, but it's over. Like you think about it, like it wasn't
Quick.
as stressful as it needed to be, and it's a game.
Right. And it's a lesson that I didn't hear. I heard my dad say it all the time when I was playing in Arizona. It's like it ends for everyone at some point.
It's
and
just
like you don't hear it at
it's
the
just
time.
a small moment in your life.
Yeah, so now it makes sense. It's like, so it's going to end for everyone at some point. That might be 10, that might be 15, that might be 18, that might be 22, it might be 30, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
But
You throwing down that money to ball quote.
yeah,
right?
and so now it's like, now at what point do you, what point do you, what did you learn from it? You know, what did you learn from it? So, hopefully we're they're learning good lessons as well on the baseball field. So. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm starting to hear the commercial music. That's our first commercial break. We'll be right back, guys.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Just Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burned like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Cholla Boulevard across from Foothills Mall, 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in. What's up, guys? We are back. So, we're kind of having that conversation like the old guys versus the new guys now, man. So, and you said something really cool. I want to know those standards that you have. What do you tell your players? Because they're young right now, which is really cool because I feel like your guys are changes this whole dynamic that's going on. What do you tell them the do's and don'ts of being a baseball player?
So you can say it. I mean, they're pretty simple. The
wardrobe clothes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we do this. Like I said, my dad has a big influence on the program, which has been fun. But our rules at Arizona, and they're pretty similar. It's be on time, do things right. Two rules.
Here. I'm gonna throw a pivot in real quick.
Yeah.
And this is kind of cool. So your dad came to our practice, and he said the exact same things to my players.
Yeah.
And the gift I'm about to give you was I wanted to make sure the guys that took that message are the only ones signing it.
Oh,
so we had 6 a.m. practice today, which sucks anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, pick what you want to say. I was hoping they were gonna say be on time and do things right. So check this out. I'm gonna shout out my boys at Miranda Baseball.
That's
there it is.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the
And
start.
so, and I mean, we have some other ones in there because I think with just the age group, we got to be a little more fine detailed with some things, but that's generally the concept, and it makes sense, man. It's everyone knows what right and wrong is. It's like do the right thing. Is it right to leave a dugout trash? No. Is it right to do? It's like, so we don't need to make sure you're doing X, Y, Z. It's like be on time and do things right. Those are the standards and expectations, and that generally works for everything in life too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's what your dad said. Like you have those 80%, the 10%. And it was cool because your dad went to one of the young kids who actually never talks, which was perfect.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to give you the key to life right now.
Yeah.
I should make you pay for this, but I'm going to give you the key for life. And he looked at him and said, all you need to do is be on time, do things right.
Yeah.
A
lot of people can't do those two things.
Yeah, especially with this generation, man. Especially with my, So I've never dove into what your dad taught you. I've been blessed in the sense I've worked camps with Coach Lopez.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the standards your dad taught you, because we're going to start getting to your guys' journeys to your baseball careers.
Yeah, I mean, similar. Obviously, I think my dad played, and your dad had a harder job of having to coach a bunch of different athletes. So,
and just so everyone, your dad was a major leaguer, right?
Yes. Played with Angels and Astros, and early late 90s. Finished his career with the Astros. So, but yeah, I mean, similar stuff. Being an athlete, I think even Andy, my dad, it's you have to have standards. You have to do things right. You have to be able to have discipline on days when you feel like working or days that you don't. So, growing up with him, being an athlete, it's I think a lot of those things just happen naturally. So it's been cool to now. My dad's gone. He's coaching baseball with the Angels. He lives in Reno, so he's not in Tucson as much.
Oh shoot!
So
what's
now,
he doing with the Angels now?
He actually just retired, but he was the A-ball manager.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he's been with the Angels organization for the last, I think, 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
That's
retired.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I'm pretty sure you had the privilege of kind of being around major leaguers growing up.
Yeah.
What was that like, having that experience?
I think it was a blessing and a curse. It was cool to see, to be around that. And obviously I took a lot of good things, but I think there was a part of it that I think there was a part of me growing up thinking that I was just going to play pro baseball because I grew up in it. I grew up in the dugout, grew up seeing my dad. So, that's the curse of knowing, it still takes a lot of hard work. You got to have luck involved. You got to have a lot of different things. So I think when I was playing at Pima, and Soto was my head coach there. He was our head coach at Pima.
Edgar Soto.
Yeah, so I loved playing for Edgar. He's awesome. But yeah, going to Pima thinking I'm just going to play pro baseball, and you got these 6'4" dudes coming in playing second base over me. It was like, okay, I got to figure out how to find a real job. So
let me go into that because that's a struggle that a lot of athletes deal with because they leave high school, especially somewhere like Tucson, and then they go with the big dogs.
Yes.
How did you make sure you stayed on the right path? 'Cause I've been around athletes, sadly, that once baseball's over, they go crazy, especially when someone gets hurt, when they were predicted to get drafted, and all of a sudden they blow out their ACL or something. Because like hearing your story and kind of being around you, you're probably you are on the right path right now. How did you make that happen, even though when baseball was gone?
I think fortunately growing up, my dad I think was pretty humble. My brother was humble. My parents so I think we always grew up in a baseball was always a blessing. It was a blessing. My grandparents were around a lot. It was always just, and I know we're going to get into religion a little bit, but God's first. Everything else kind of comes second. So I was always under the mindset of, man, if I can play college baseball or pro baseball, great. What an honor, what a blessing that would be. But I was also realistic, knowing that kind of like what David talked about earlier, like everybody stops playing baseball at some point. So I think I was fortunate to really be focused on knowing that there's life after baseball and trying to get an education and set myself up to be a normal.
That's awesome. You didn't let baseball become your identity.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
awesome, man. So you kind of have a similar thing. It kind of seems like your dad was in major leagues for how many times he went to Omaha.
Yeah.
What was that like just growing up, just having Andy Lopez as your father?
Yeah.
And what were the lessons he taught, not about baseball, just about how to be a great man? Other than be on time and do things.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was funny. It was like I still tell this story all the time because it's like he was just like very particular and he was less intense at home than he was on the field. I think when I ended up playing for him, I was like, whoa, like this is a lot more intense. And he was pretty intense at the house, but like in a good way. Like there's a joke. He'd have 3x5 cards written all over the house of like close the door, do this, turn the light off, blah blah blah. If someone left something on the table for too long, like this thing, he would know how long it's been there and ask why has it been here for 2 weeks. And I find myself doing that at work now and stuff. I'm like, why has this been here for so long? So I think there was just the standards and structure and organization and discipline is like stuff that he taught us as kids, and it was super helpful. And obviously he was coaching a lot, but you could always feel his influence. When he wasn't at if he was coaching on the road or whatever, and then my mom, they just worked so well together to kind of just like be on the same page with how they were raising me and my siblings. So
I want to ask the same question I asked him. Mm-hmm. You had a chance to be around the college guys at a young age, probably.
Yeah.
What was that like? What kind of impact did that make on you?
Yeah, I think that was super helpful. So I played a bunch of sports growing up, and I was kind of a little bit of a class clown. I got in trouble my senior year, and so. And I did. I got suspended from school a little bit, and my mom was like, "You can't just be at the house." And she made my dad take me to work. And I don't even know. This is probably it was an NCAA violation, but I ended up practicing my senior year in the fall. I was practicing. I was doing like skill hours at Arizona.
Good thing everyone's out and retired.
Which is what I know. So it's like, and that ended up like that was kind of a part of my I was getting recruited by Eastern, Cochise, a couple of JCs in town, some smaller Division I schools, and I was playing for Brian Huey, White Sox club baseball at the time. Then I was at Arizona, and that's ended up how they're like, hey, kind of my recruiting process, like, where are you going? Wazakowski, who's now the Oregon coach, was like, what are you trying to do next year? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I think I'm gonna go JC route. And he's like, come here, and yada yada yada. So, but yeah, it was cool. I grew up around the game. I was in Omaha as a middle schooler because I was, just in the dugout with my dad.
What was that like being 14 years old in Omaha, man? I remember going to the game, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I couldn't imagine being in a dugout.
Yeah, it was fun. It was super fun. It was crazy because our last tournament, we ran into Chris Fry, who was the center fielder on my dad's 2014. He's coaching a 12U. He's coaching his kid in 12U, and we have a 12U team. And so I was in middle school in the dugout when Chris Fry was a college player at Arizona, and then we just ran into each other at a tournament in Phoenix, and it's just like, all the stuff with this coaching has been so fun and kind of like.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you're a College World Series champion, right? I know that.
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
So what made that team so special? Because for me, at the time, I still paid attention to you, but it just seems like you guys almost came out of nowhere in a way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I tell this to our 14-year-olds all the time. I'm sure I'll do it to the 12U guys too. Is the best teams I've been on, the best players were the best people, and they were the hardest workers. That's like, that wasn't the 2012 team wasn't the most talented team. The 2011 team, we had like four. I still talk about it. It was like there was 4 big leaguers that were on the bench. Like, I would look on the bench and there was like 4 big leaguers, guys that ended up playing in the big leagues. We had like 12 big league guys on our 2011 team. We lost in Texas A&M and regionals. But the 2012 team was just, our best players were our hardest workers, and so the culture was so tight. And then same thing following, man. I played on a team. I can think of there's 2 first rounders on that team, and we missed the playoffs. So it's like, it's when your best players are your best people, like, really special stuff happens, in my opinion, in any organization, whether that's in sports or outside. It's like that's how you really build good teams.
That's incredible. So. What's it like dogpiling, man? Because I'm seeing it like on the screens. Now I get a chance to talk about it with you. So I'm like, what's that emotion like? Seeing the crowd, like, you just won the biggest college spot you could ever do, bro.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a blur. You watch a lot of videos of it when it's done because you're like, what happened? But yeah, man. I don't know if my memories are like actually my memories from it or just from videos I've watched of it. Like, I don't even know if I really remember what exactly happened. But it was Omaha was unbelievable, unbelievable. I don't know if our players are gonna watch this because it's like, but something we always talk about. Like, there's a tournament that's runs like coincides with Omaha, and we always try to figure out, would it be so sick to do a tournment and also while the College World Series is going on. But
so you can show the kids, like, hey, see that right there? That's dogpiling right there, dog.
Yeah. So Omaha's sweet, but yeah,
that's awesome. So we're all believers here. Like, faith plays a huge role, and I want to know your guys' testimonies. How are you able to kind of just be a believer? And I want to know a moment in your life where you really felt like, I really need to lean on God, and God got me through this. And we'll start with you, brother.
Yeah. I think growing up, I was in a Christian home. My grandparents, grandma and grandpa were strong believers, parents strong believers. But for me, it was really just go to church on Sunday, and then the rest of the week was the rest of the week. So it wasn't really till I got, probably early or mid to late 20s when I really realized, okay, there's really nothing else in life besides having a relationship with Christ. So it's fortunate for me. I'm always been a believer, but really I would say a fairly new believer and learning that relationship. So I'm not jaded. I have a lot of fresh perspective on still excited and still constantly learning and growing in that. But I think man, grandpa passing away, I think 12 or 13 years ago was tough. Like, really had to rely on God there.
Just guide yourself through to guide you through that journey.
Yeah, he was kind of the rock of the family, and my grandma's still here. She's 94.
Oh shit, dude! I have a
Howell.
I have a grandma that's 92, man. She's still out there walking, working out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah. So yeah, really, that's it. I mean, it's life is hard. Life is hard, and this is a short short term that we're going to be here on this earth, and we have to try to do what we can to live like Christ would, and do the best we can in that sense. So, we're not shy. We talk about it in practice and stuff. And
you guys talk to your kids about all that stuff?
Yeah, where it's relevant.
They know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you want to be as integrative as possible as a human, you know. So it's like it's not.
You guys got your own FCA going over there. That's awesome.
So, and I mean, I think that's just because my dad would always use it for teaching moments at Arizona, which I don't know if you can and can't do anymore. But it's like, he was never shy about it as a player. And you know, I don't think it's offensive in one way or the other. It kind of falls on the ears that may or may not hear it. So it's like it's not necessarily like evangelizing to the kids, but using like, you know, there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. I think
that's the best playbook in the world, man.
So yeah.
That's awesome. So I know for sure you grew up in a Christian home. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my journey was definitely grandparents and the whole nine. Always involved in the church. My dad grew up in the Catholic Church, and then, you know, ended up in a non-denominational Christian church. So we were raised a non-denominational Christian. I studied religion at U of A.
Yeah.
I just ended up walking away from the faith probably in my 20s, trying to find my own journey a little bit.
You think that had to do with anything kind of baseball?
I think, when baseball ended for me, that was like a big rug pull. So that was my big passion for a while, of like trying to help people make that adjustment. And I would talk to, you know, freshmen at student athletes. I would still do that. They would reach out, and I would talk to the incoming freshmen or the seniors leaving, and try to just kind of like help and just say, hey, you know, find resources where you need them. It's like a kind of big shock, but I think I did have a piece to it, but then I just think I just lost my faith for multiple different reasons. I don't think life was going the way I wanted. You know, I think a lot of people lose it for those reasons. And so I did. I do believe that, like, whether it's if it's not Christianity, there's probably some sort of, you know, there is a higher power. So I was, you know, doing other religions. I really got into, like, you know, Buddhism and I think like Eastern philosophies, and really was into that for a while. But it whatever I kind of did kind of just like ran its course, and would always like it would just run its course and just end. And so
and then let me kind of jump in real quick. What moment did it hit, like, hey, I want to get back on the God team right now?
It was like 2021, more like 2020. I always kind of had a faith, but I kind of went through some major life shifts around 2017. That what I currently was studying, like, you know, the way and like I was heavy into like chakras and spiritual energy and yada yada yada.
Doing yoga too?
Yeah. I had the chakras tattooed on my forearm. Nice. And so I was like during that time of my life, but and you know, no shade to that. I don't want to, you know, people are into that, you know. I was like, but yeah, so it's like if that's your stuff, do your stuff. But I just was going through some stuff where it was a lot of that stuff was like energy and body and breath work and very centric on like myself and not in a selfish way, but I think you look back, because I don't want to, but it's like it does focus a lot on you. And I think the challenges I was facing, like I needed help from something bigger and greater, et cetera. And then there was like concepts of grace and things like that I just think are unique to the biblical story that I think are really important as I kind of like get older. They make more and more sense to me as I kind of keep going. So, but yeah, it was around 2021 where I went up to Yellowstone for a while and kind of like had some, I could say, religious experiences with God, I think, and it kind of led me back to you know, the biblical God and Jesus and all that. So found a church back in town. Was going to move out of Tucson, but a church kind of anchored me, which I'm super thankful for. And now there's just been like a lot of blessings that have kind of come.
God's going to put you in the right spot no matter what. I'm learning that too, brother. It's like just recently with stuff, man. Was praying for stuff. I mean, like sign stuff, and then it's boom.
Yeah.
And then I got off the phone with Clint Peak, who's the guy that you were talking to outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm telling him the news about the AIA stuff and everything. Yeah. And he's like, that's a God thing right there. Yeah. First word he said, right. I'm like, oh shoot, where did that come from?
Yeah. I know. Yeah, but one of my buddies who I go to church with now, I reconnected with super randomly, and he invited me to church, and it's kind of the same church we all go to. I had an opportunity to move to Seattle, and he was like, "Hey man," like he said, like a lot of people will move for a job, but like people won't move for a church. So if you find a church, maybe just hang tight. And it just resonated with me, and I'm still here.
Hey, seasonal depression is not fun in Seattle. So we got the sun in Tucson. Guys, that is the sign for our last break. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? I got to tell you about this brand new spot in downtown Tucson. De Novo Market and Tap is one of the best up-and-coming spots. They got on-the-go food, they got coffee, and they got some really good craft beer. Make sure you go check them out at 177 North Church Avenue. Make sure you go say what's up to my homie Wrigley as well. He's the owner. What's up, guys? This show is sponsored by one of my best friends, Erica Sanchez, who's with Brows with Erica. She is one of the best persons in business when it comes to getting your eyebrows done. Make sure you go check her out at 6050 North Oracle Road, Suite H.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you come. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Troya Boulevard across from Foothills Mall, 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
All right, guys. We got about 12 minutes left. Well, I want to get into some fun questions real quick. Favorite baseball bat you ever used? And let me ask you, used Beezers, right? Or did you ever use the Beezer bats before BB Core?
Yeah, you did. The juiced bat.
Like the Warrior?
Yeah. Before BB Core. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Did you use them too?
Yeah. Dude, yes. They
Warrior,
changed the BB
the
Core.
black and white Warrior was...
Ooh.
You remember that
the
or no?
Warrior? Yeah, the black and white. I'm going the green Gen 1X. Remember the green? Who brought one out?
Oh, I remember. Dude, so one time they brought one of those bats to practice.
Yeah. Oh, they go crazy.
You remember the XL Easton Drop 5?
Yeah.
That was the hottest bat I ever used in my life. I used a Beezer bat. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a power hitter all of a sudden.
They're dangerous.
There's a bat right now, the Hype Fire, that I just don't. It's just stupid. Unbelievable.
There
was a DeMarini bat when we were playing the Stealth DeMarini.
Dude, I remember that in Little League.
There were players getting scholarships. I'm like, dude, and I'm like, that's not, you can't hit. And then that's exactly what happened. It's like, it was just unbelievable. But that bat was hot.
What do you think about the idea that colleges used to use drop 5s?
Oh, yeah. No, there was it transitioned. I think it was in my freshman or sophomore year. We had to jump to BB cores, and it was like
Yeah, what was that
I
like?
look back and I'm like, how? Well, first off, it like I was a really handsy hitter, and I had to like restructure a lot because I was like, dude, I could get like barrel on ball all the time. And just
you could
flip
get
balls
them
over
literally
short.
home runs from back in the day when they
Yeah,
just go
and
like
I was like,
this.
I had to figure it out, but yeah, I look back because I'm like, how are we playing with these hot bats? It was unbelievable.
Poor pitcher, man.
Poor pitcher.
I remember watching this thing on ESPN Sports Science, and they showed like 5 guys getting hit with the old bats. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Brutal.
Shit. Yeah. All right, favorite glove?
Oh, man.
I mean, I know mine. It's
I used to get all the pro preferreds and stuff from my dad, but the best glove, honestly, that I loved was the Flare. What was it? The
TPX Flare?
TPX Flare.
Dude,
I know, it's weird. It's like
I was gonna go there too. It was so big though, and then I went to college. I went Rawlings.
Yeah.
Well, then you didn't have a choice because you had a glove day, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was Rawlings. It was our contract.
What was like getting a glove day, man? Because
that was sick.
You get a
That
new
was
glove
sick.
every year, right?
Yeah, every year. And I only use the same glove the whole time, and so I still have like the glove. Yeah. My gamer for my freshman year is what I use. So then I just say like, you just get gloves.
If you ever want to donate gloves to JV Miranda,
What's yours?
Okay, so I've always been a Wilson guy. I think it was a 17,
Wilson's nice.
68 model or something like that. But my last year I played, I switched to Rollins.
Okay.
And I probably had my worst defense season. So I'm like, that's why you don't do stuff. Which brings me to my next question. Best baseball superstition?
For me, Sunday, I got the same meal every time. I'd go to Dunkin' Donuts to get an iced coffee, and then Jimmy John's. I lived out right over at Campbell, me and my roommates or teammates, and I would do that same routine every Sunday. That was my Sunday meal.
Would you freak out if you didn't do it?
I never didn't. Like I never not did it. I don't even know what I would do if I didn't do it. It was just that was the routine and a certain playlist. But
yeah.
I didn't have many.
You're a baseball player and you didn't have any superstitions? That is insane. Dude, you need to be studied or something. I never
that's why
happens.
I didn't make it past, JUCO ball.
Oh, shit. Gotta go. Dave, you know what to hit. Yeah. No, the trombone, man. There it is. All right. Best baseball memory before college? I know what your college memory would be, because that would be mine. But
before college?
You can do whatever you want. But I'm trying to get something away from Omaha.
Man, this is a tough memory. I remember, I don't know if that'd be my favorite. We had a really sick
or maybe
team
like
in
something
high
like
school.
something just memorable. Let's put it that way.
Oh, you know what? KFC. Shout out to my KFC team. I don't even know if Legion baseball is still a thing.
Did Adrian play on the team with you? 'Cause I remember Adrian Martinez played. So he kept saying he's playing at KFC. So I really thought he was just like it was a team sponsored by KFC.
No, it's real. KFC is, and like JJ Hardy played on. Like there, like for some reason, it was like always. And so I played KFC my senior year, and we got beat by Bishop Gorman in California. But yeah, we like won state. We were like 50-2. It was a crazy summer.
Shoot.
And then I played with Seth Mias-Breen. We both ended up playing at Arizona, but then we lost to Bishop Gorman, who ended up 3 of our U of A teammates were on that team. But KFC,
Bishop Gorman, bro, that's a whole different level, man.
Yeah.
We used to play at Tucson High. We used to play at their tournament every year in Vegas. There's probably balls still going that they hit off us.
Joey
right now.
Gallo was a freshman at Gorman that year, and he had a bomb off us.
Dude, he had 29 jacks at his senior year, I think.
That Bishop Gorman team was real, but yeah, that KFC was one of my favorite pre-college memories. Yeah, that summer.
Cool. What about you, brother?
Legion ball.
Yeah, probably summer before my freshman year at Pimo. I played a couple weeks in Hermosillo at where the Naranjeros play. That was cool to go up there.
Yeah.
And then we spent a month in Daly City outside of San Francisco and played some ball up there with a buddy I went to high school with who played at Gateway, and so it was cool. I mean, it was just a cool experience to get out and kind of be like, all right, it's time to go into the real world and play, and so it was cool summer.
That's awesome, guys. So, like you said, you told me to remind you guys, tell them exactly what the community can do to make sure your club ball team dominates the heck out of Canes, all those other dudes. Yeah. Canes is the club team, guys. It's not the restaurant.
I think for we're always looking for coaches. We have a lot of players that want to join the program, and we just can't. We only can do X amount of weekends. So and on the field. So and I will say this is like I don't know however many folks listen. Like, oh, coach, it's like we are looking for a particular you got to know the game. You got to be able to work, really connect with players and like high integrity people. So we're always looking for coaches, and fields is a headache. Those are our two biggest headaches that we're trying to find.
Yeah, field. That's it. I mean, coaches, obviously players. We don't. This doesn't run if we don't have families that are willing to pay.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate that, but yeah, it's coaches. And right now, all of our coaches have at least played college baseball. I think that's a kind of a prerequisite that we require.
Right there.
Yeah, it is. And we're not opposed to going outside that box, but I think, that's really what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Coaches, players. We have a website. If you guys
let them know what the website is.
Yeah, Southern Arizona Baseball Academy.org.
Gosh.
Oh, we should
.org.com. I don't know.
Should I look real quick? I'm going to look real quick for you guys.
It's .org.
.org.
.org. Okay.
There it is.
And then,
And
that's
you
really
said you want to throw in some real estate business in there
yeah,
too?
absolutely. I'm on the Danny Roth team. I think he does some commercials on air and stuff. But yeah, if you're looking for a house, if baseball's not your thing,
looking for a palace.
yeah, if you're looking for a palace, call Dallas. No,
If you're dude,
that's not my slogan.
Is that your slogan?
That is not my slogan.
Did you just come up with it?
No.
Wait.
I joke about it a lot.
Dude, that needs to be a shirt or something, man. Shoot, like I said, see you afterwards. We can work on that.
My wife said if she ever hears me say that, we're gonna have problems. So
well,
I had to throw it out there.
We rent out the studio for like podcast, but if you need a place to stay, I'm sure we can.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Come up with some.
That's perfect.
I gotta say thank you guys. I had a pleasure having you guys on.
Thank you. Honestly, it's been
this
great.
was sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, we're doing our best to take over, just like you guys are doing that. Like I said, I'm down to coach. 100%. Sign me up. Hey, I'm putting up in the air.
Yes.
I'm coaching with these guys during the summer.
That's it.
I'll go get you a hat. I got a hat in the car. I'll go get it after
Heck
this.
yeah, I'll just add it. Dude, I have like 5 different hats going on right now with everything I'm doing. That's awesome. Hey guys, just real quick before we end, I gotta say thank you to all the love and support. If you heard me talking before, we have our AIA credentials, which means we can go to any sporting events in all Arizona. That is a huge deal for us because we're able to finally just be an official sporting media outlet. We are official. Like, thank you guys. Seeing this from the beginning, it's all because of you guys, all the love and support you give us. So thank you guys. Real quick, just tell me your names again to give you guys a shout out last time.
David Lopez.
Yeah, Dallas Howell.
2 studs. Hey, speaking of studs, we're going to have an absolute BMF, former UFC fighter, Anthony Burchick, will be in studio next week on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Not much love, more just punching on Friday. But hey, we'll see you guys then. Peace out.